Why are you not married?
I make dresses.
You cannot be married when you make dresses.
I'm certain I was never meant to marry. I'm a confirmed bachelor. I'm incurable.
The title is not my favorite. The movie is. Some people seem confused by this film. Some just can't connect, apparently. To me, this is a movie that must be seen at least twice. There's too much to absorb in one sitting. The film is mostly a combo of the philosophies of Woody Allen and Julian Barnes, the British novelist. Mix Woody's "we need the eggs" thought.
This guy goes to a psychiatrist and says, Doc, my brother's crazy. He thinks he's a chicken. And the doctor says, well, why don't you turn him in? And the guy says, I would, but I need the eggs. Well, I guess that's pretty much now how I feel about relationships. You know, they're totally irrational and crazy and absurd. But I guess we keep going through it because most of us need the eggs.
With the British novelist Julian Barnes' theme of, would you rather love more and suffer more, or love less and suffer less? We have a man who has everything a man could want, everything in place. He's celebrated, spoiled, and indulged by all. Yet, he chooses to allow his life to become messy, chaotic, and seemingly out of control.
It's just not very good, is it? It's ugly.
The brilliant Paul Thomas Anderson, director, writer, and, in this instance, director of photography, says the idea came to him when he was ill and he suddenly realized he was receiving special attention from his wife, which was very nice. Thus was born the seed of the plot.
I was very, very sick in bed one night, and my wife looked at me with a love and affection that I hadn't seen in a long time. And so I called Daniel the next day and said, I think I have a good idea for a movie.
I'm sure this is an amusing tongue-in-cheek comment at a Q&A after the film, but it certainly makes sense. Annie Hall offers us the explanation that most of us need the eggs. Indeed, why do we complicate our lives with relationships that any rational person would reject? Because we need the emotional eggs. We need the drama. We need the to and fro.
Maybe you have no taste.
Maybe I like my own taste.
Yes, just enough to get you into trouble.
Perhaps I'm looking for trouble.
Stop!
Reynolds has a perfect setup. His sister takes care of all the details and cleanups. He gets to do what he wants, when he wants to. Enter Alma, who has her own wants and is also determined that things should, can, and will change.
I wanted time with you. I wanted to have you to myself.
You have me all the time.
No.
What are you talking about?
I don't.
Alma offers passion, risk-taking, truth-telling, and messy life.
I'm buttering my toast and not moving too much.
Well, it's too much. It's a distraction. It's very distracting.
Maybe you pay too much attention to it.
Reynolds grabs at it. He shows us in the closing portion of the film that he is in. He drinks the tea he knows is poisoned only enough to sicken him. He wants to be in Alma's hands. He wants to live life on Alma's terms. What will happen, we do not know. She imagines a blissful ending for us, but we're skeptical and properly cautious. It's doubtful to me that things will run along such a placid path as Alma describes with the lovely pram and tea and biscuits. But that is not the point. Reynolds and Alma are going to try. They are in the mix of those who choose to love more, suffer more, as Barnes suggests. The brutality of this relationship is explored in all its jagged splendor with ghoulish humor, unflinching honesty, and ultimately surprising tenderness. It's a film that manages to feel both artfully pristine and horribly messy.
Is there something I'm unaware of? Because as far as I can remember, all I have done is to dress her beautifully.
I don't think that matters to some people.
The exquisite production design holds 2 hours of uncomfortable truth. It's a relationship drama that is highly perceptive to anyone willing to look and listen, which isn't difficult to do considering the gorgeousness of the clothing, set design, and finally, the magnificent score. During the second poisoning, having figured out exactly what she's cooking up, and as the soundtrack swells with their embrace, it becomes a moment of unlikely, woozy romance. For me, it was a scene not about psychological affliction or Stockholm syndrome, but about the importance of coming to terms with a relationship, accepting and understanding the oddness and unconventional aspects of ourselves that often buy into relationships that are very volatile and problematic. It's not to be taken too literally. It's the idea that we do or do not give in to a poisoned potion that provides us with what we need emotionally. It's an unvarnished view of the reality behind love, the ongoing, sometimes extremely difficult maintenance required to stay with someone. Alma and Reynolds have found a way to make it work. Imperfect, yes, and to others, sickeningly perverse. But don't the rules of anyone's relationship seem strange when studied under a microscope by others? To quote Reynolds,
I think it's the expectations and assumptions of others that cause heartache.
Phantom Thread's outlook on love doesn't require the approval of others. It's sweepingly seductive to watch. Different, beautifully acted, musically rapturous. It's true, to my mind, of how most of us opt for the eggs. We need them. And most of us opt for loving more and suffering more. We want to. The human comedy is truly an odd one that defies logic, but it seems to require this perverse fuel. Love does make the world go round. Maybe.